Tracy here. Welcome to another episode of YourSuccessAtLast.com with our new format, the Success Atlas Tips to Improve Performance. We're going to be We're going to be coming at you every day now, Monday through Friday, with little tips and little techniques. Yesterday we had Motivation Monday. Today's our Open Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be chatting a bit about attitude. Thursday is another open topic, and on Friday we're talking about goals. But before we start with today's topic, I want to start with your question for the day. Are you using your talents? And you know what? Actually, the question really should be, how are you using your talents? I mean, let's be honest. We all have talents. Some are big, some are small, some are honed to a razor's edge. Some are a little shaggy around the edges. You know who you are. I have some of them myself. So the question really becomes, how are you using your talents, right? Are you using them productively, or are you letting them waste away? Because let's be honest, we all know if you don't use it, you lose it. The human body is a fascinating biomechanical device. In whatever part of the body that isn't being used or isn't being used effectively begins to deteriorate. And that works with the physical part of your body as well as your mind itself and the mental facility. So I want you to ask yourself this question. So seriously pause. Go ahead, pause right now and ask yourself, how am I using my talents? All right? So think about that today as you're going through your day, right? Pay attention to what your talents are. Ask other people what your talents are. You may be surprised at some of the answers you get. People probably come to you for things that they think are your talents that you just kind of take for granted. So find out what they are and answer the question how you're using them. Now, before we get into today's topic about controlling your frustrations, I want to ask you, I want to tell you, because I know you do, and you're going to say yes. Do you want to get your hands on a free copy of my ebook, Write Your Success Story? I wrote this one, probably about 2 years ago now, maybe a little over a year ago. And it really reveals how you can write your success story. Not just write it, but begin to make it your reality. It's going to show you things like, why it's important to write your success story. So many people think about, I'll just write it on my to-do list. No, I want you to write your success story. There's something so simple about this that most people have totally forgotten about it. And I'm going to tell you about that. And then I tell you about it in the ebook, right? And then we're going to show you why you should take a look at your values and your beliefs before you write your success story and before you go on your goals path. Because sometimes you might be going in the wrong direction, and that one step can save you a ton of heartache and a whole lot of unnecessary failure. We're going to look at 3 views that you've got to consider, right? There are 3 specific views about your life and your success story that you have to take into consideration. Right? There are things you're probably doing right now that are sabotaging your success story. We're going to chat. It takes you in behind the scenes about those. Talks about how to deal with your past failures. And it even goes so far as giving you a great method. There's a creative block that a lot of people go through, myself included. So I whipped up a really good method to fire up your creative juices. And this alone is worth the entire book that I was selling for. And by the way, I was selling it for like $27.97. Weird numbers, I know, but it's me. I'm weird. What can I say? But anyway, this one method alone, a lot of people would say, is worth the entire price of the book. Get your creative juices flowing and makes writing your success story almost a piece of cake. And then lastly, there's what 3 things you need to include. You have to be sure that are in there in your success story. So all of this is in there. A number of the pages dedicated to each one of these things. And there's, of course, there's much, much more. But wait, there's more, right? Like all the commercials go. Of course, here's what I want to do is I don't want to sell you this. I actually want to give you a copy of this. I want you to go ahead and have it as being a listener. So the question becomes, okay, Tracy, you got me. I'm hooked. I'm sold, right? That was a lousy sales pitch, but I want it. Well, you know what? I'm going to make you wait. I'll tell you how to go get it towards the end of this podcast, right? Because really, you didn't come here for me to give you some fast pitch. Give me your email and I'll give you my ebook. You really came here to talk about controlling your frustration. So that's what we're going to get into right now. Okay? So here's where I was going. Over the course of doing, I started off with an easy, and I went to a blog. Now I'm doing podcasts. I'm still doing my blog. So I've given any number of tips and techniques on using the good to get better, right? Using the good things to enhance and make them even better. Using the good things to make the bad things a little bit better. A lot of times I stay up and I stay positive. As you saw in the podcast that came out a couple of weeks ago, every once in a while I fall victim to my own worst enemy, right? Things get under your skin. It's life, right? It's real. And it's during those times our frustration kind of sneaks in. This is one of the realities is frustration is a daily part of life. For most of us, if not all of us. I mean, if you're saying, oh, I never get frustrated, I'd say there's two people that are hearing a liar. Right, okay, maybe that was a little harsh, I'm sorry. But if you say you never get frustrated, maybe you're using a different word, maybe you're feeling different feelings, maybe it's anger for you. But still, the worst is it often comes in some pretty heavy doses. Sometimes it's easy to deal with, sometimes a little heavier, sometimes it just pours down on you like Niagara Falls. But during your times of frustration, whether it's those easy, light doses or those heavier doses, you really need to know how to deal with your frustrations, right? It's a really important skill that is neglected in most of the curriculum of the schools that we've attended. Well, at least the ones I've attended. And actually, the School of Hard Knocks that I attended a good part of my latter teen years and early 20 years actually enhanced my frustrations rather than taught me how to deal with them. So anyway, but I digress. Maybe I'll share with that in some other podcasts, right? You see, your inability to keep your frustration in check and under control is seriously going to have a far greater impact on your productivity and the quality of your output than your lack of intelligence, should you have a lack of intelligence, or your belief in your lack of intelligence, than creativity, than your vision, or even your energy. I mean, seriously, in all honesty, your unchecked frustration will have a greater impact on you than all of these things combined. That's really exactly how important it is. And let's add to that. Frustration on top of that has this trickle-down or domino effect that's going to affect everyone around you. And this is a really important thing to think about because all of us have friends, we have family. Some of us, or many of you that listen to this, all right, you're leaders in an organization. And that organization could be a nonprofit organization, it could be a business, it could be your business, or it could be your family. So don't just think about this from a business perspective. I mean, you could be a leader in a family, or you could have somebody you're mentoring, or some kids that are looking up to you. That's a leader. And you see, leaders depend heavily on their staff, right, to help them maintain their success, right? We don't do things alone. And if you're a leader, you can't keep your frustration in check. Oh, I'm sorry, my tongue just tripped over my eye teeth, and I couldn't see what I was saying. Anyway. If you can't keep that frustration in check, that natural trickle down or that domino effect I was mentioning of your frustration, it's going to cause your feelings to leak out onto your family, onto your friends, and onto your staff. And you're going to be surprised how perceptive they are to this. And see, by doing this, you're literally going to be contaminating the very people, the very team that are depending on your success. I mean, this really only brings to mind one word. Don't do it. Oh, that's 3 words. I'm sorry. Unwise, stupid, silly. Okay? And whatever word you want to use, don't do it. It's unwise. It's silly. It's ridiculous, right? Keep yourself in check. I had an experience not too long ago where my wife and my daughter were saying, yeah, we don't want to approach you for those kinds of questions because you get frustrated. And I didn't realize I was doing it. Oh my gosh. And apparently it was something simple like a facial frustration, a facial expression I was doing, maybe rolling my eyes or smacking my teeth or whatever it was. It was a really low frustration, but they were so sensitive to it. So how can we fight back this beast called frustration? Well, one of the first weapons I want to offer up to you is, well, like I was mentioning, communication. We talked it through, right? This is a weapon that gets more powerful with repeated use, right? It's not like a gun where it always goes the same way. Bang, bang, bang. No. As you use this, you hone it. Toastmasters is a great example of this. They get you up there for your first speech is 2 minutes. Then they give you a 3-minute speech. Then they give you a 5 and a 7. And the next thing you know, you're doing 12 and 15, 20, 30 and hour-long speeches, right? They build it up because communication gets more powerful with repeated use, right? So I want you to constantly maintain open lines of communication. Use them, open them up and down the chain of command. And if we're talking from a family perspective, up to your mom and dad, up to your grandparents, and then down to your children. Don't talk down to them, but I'm just trying to give you the whole chain of command concept inside the family dynamic, inside your business, up to your boss, up to their boss, down to your peers, down to your maybe your employees themselves. Now, on top of this, you need to temper your weapon. Right? You need to temper this with some old-fashioned honesty. Really? Honestly, Tracy? That's what it is? Yeah, honestly. It's honesty. This develops trust. And it's going to develop trust. And I want you to you've got to do this by demonstrating this daily integrity. Because trust me, people are watching you. When you start doing things that you think they're not seeing, and cutting those corners, they're going to see the holes in your integrity and begin eroding your trust. And that's going to break down your communication. So this is really important. This means you must be able to tell people the things that may sting a little when you tell them, but they got to be said nonetheless. Don't say it to go out and hurt them. Don't say, well, it's the truth. Right? There's a way to say it. There's a way to hand the news over. Because you're going to need to be able to give the bad news just as easily as you can give the good news. Right? That's an acquired skill that you're going to develop by using this on a daily basis. Finally, really, because then you can be able to tell them the truth, be able to tell them in such a way that they're going to be very accepting. Even when you're done, they'll be happy you told them. You're able to tell them about their mistakes, tell them about better ways to do it. Hey, if I would have done it, I'd have done it this way. It doesn't make it the right way. That's how I would have done it. Right? This builds trust, which is crucial to keeping those lines of communication open. So you can see how that kind of comes around full circle. Now, the next weapon I want to give to you, and oh my goodness, I'm going over time. See, my sales pitch kind of blew it, right? So I'm going to cut through this, right? The next weapon I want to give to you about your frustrations is grow up. Yeah, right? Oh yeah. And for those of you that know me, you're going, yeah, right, Tracy, you're saying grow up. No. I'm not saying don't be a child at heart. I'm saying have a level of maturity, because maturity gives you wisdom. And wisdom, like honey, catches far more flies than vinegar. If you come back to that trickle effect I mentioned earlier, right? That vinegar is going to really get in the sour taste of those people around you. It's going to start affecting the results and the personal feelings of those people that you really don't want to be thinking negatively. Right? When you're frustrated or angry and you go out of your way and you do nothing, absolutely nothing, right? When other people are frustrated and angry with you, right? And you've treated them that way, they're going to do the same thing. Nothing. Okay, so here, when you're angry, when you're frustrated, I want you to pause. You like that? Pretty good, right? No dramatic effect, right? Pause. Sit down. Have a seat. And if you're someplace where you have to stand, and sometimes we are, standing in line, we're at a meeting, waiting for something to happen, relax your shoulders, right? Take a couple of deep breaths. And acknowledge you're upset, right? Be honest with yourself. It comes back to that honesty and integrity, right? Be honest with yourself. That comes first, then you can be honest with everyone else. Realize you're angry. Realize you're frustrated. Realize that frustration and anger could, if you let it, destroy everything you're trying to build. And it could, whatever it is you're building, it could be a business. It could be a relationship. It could be a new relationship, right? God, heaven forbid. And it could be a product line, whatever it is, right? Now that you're seated, or now that you relax your shoulders and acknowledge okay, I'm upset. I get it. All right, I'm a little angry here. And you took a couple of deep breaths, and you're sensibly thinking. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, this is hard when you first try it. And this comes when a little practice comes into play. But here's the next piece. You need to ask yourself a question. Questions are very important. And this one is, what long-range impact will this actually have? Right? When you look at it, some guy cut you off and you didn't get into an accident. Okay, right, get that out of your system. Take a breath. You're already sitting down, obviously, because you're driving. But then think to yourself, all right, well, okay, he's a jerk, whatever. Maybe he's in a hurry. Maybe his wife's having a baby, right? But in my life, what long-range impact does this have? Because think about it. If you're all worked up and you're at work saying, oh, this jerk cut me off and yada, 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 yada. You know what? The jerk that cut you off, he's at his job, doesn't even know you're alive. I let him control you like that, right? So I want you to just ask this question. Questions are very powerful. And here's a cool thing about your mind and that phantasmic thing I told you about your body. Ask it a question. It will give you an answer. What long-range impact will this situation really have? Okay, maybe it's got minimal impact. Yeah, okay, then don't worry about it. Move on. And for those times when the differences are pretty significant, ask yourself next, what steps can I take to constructively react to the situation? And again, your mind's going to give you some honest answers. Now, honest answers to this question are going to put you back on course. And it's going to be putting you back on course to a course you desire, rather than letting those raw feelings guide you down a path you might not want to be going down. Okay, that's it. You got a couple of tips there. I'm going over time. I really want to keep this format short and succinct. All right, I'm like 5:25 over right now, but I want to tell you how to get that free ebook I mentioned earlier. So here's what I want you to do. You want to get your hands on it? Just nod your head. Like Zig Ziglar said, I'll help you with the tough ones. Yes, you do, right? Write your success story. It's very easy. Go to my website, yoursuccessatlast.com. At the top of the page, you're going to see this big banner. It's probably way too big because, trust me, you can't miss it. Click on it. Put in your name and your email. And, put your full name. You say, hey, Tracy, whatever it is, Bob, Joe, Jane, right? I don't want to tell you my name. You can write that in there if you want to. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm being silly, right? Put your name and your email in there, and boom, it's going to take you to the downloads page. And you know what? Since you're listening, let me share with you a little secret. Come on, scoot closer. No, come on, get closer. When you're at that download page, I've set up some more free stuff for you. So if you do things like my fan page from that download page, you get some points. Share with Twitter. If you got Twitter, you get some points. Do a Google Plus, you get some more points. Share it on Facebook, you get some more points. 5 points, and I'm going to give you another free ebook of mine. A few more points after that, I'm going to give you some more cheat sheets and some more tip sheets. All these sheets and these ebooks are designed to help you reach your success at last. So, go on. No, really, go on. Go there now, yoursuccessatlast.com. Get your copy. Go on, shoot. Podcast is over. Go on, shoot, go ahead. Think successfully. Take action. Go ahead and go there and get it now.